everybody, this is Chris once again, recording on August the, probably, what do we call it? August the 15th, 2014. And for those of you who have recognized, if you have not been hurt or saddened by the sad news that happened as of yesterday, as during my conversation with my mother on FaceTime, and the news broke out, and I just heard the sad news that this past week, as of yesterday, Robin Williams, one of the greatest actors in movie history, has died. Yep, he died at the age of 63. He was a great, great actor, and he will be missed very well. And I know it was this was a sad day in movie history. This is according to what it says on the Daily News, or probably it's been all over the news regarding on the passing of Robin Williams. You know, he died. He was found dead. Yeah, at his home because of well, he was suicide. He was committed suicide due to emphysema. I don't know. I can't pronounce the name of this. It was an investigation because what happened is he called 911 at 11:55 a.m. It was like right before, that was 5 minutes till lunchtime. He was pronounced dead. 2 minutes after lunch, after the lunch break. But well, that's very sad. It was very sad to say. It was definitely the end of his life. And you know, Robin Williams, who's been, a lot of celebrities have mourned the passing of Robin Williams. Many people remember him for years. You know, he has been one of the greatest actors in movie history. He went on as a stand-up comedian. He was been very good to fans of them. You know, you look at other people that died over the years. You know, last year was Annette Funicello. I know we look back at Annette's life. I have not covered Annette Funicello because I was a little busy. So I'm just looking at the photo right there. And let's see what it does. And for those of you wondering this, that's it. That's her. Yeah, I did not cover Annette Funicello last year when she died. I did not cover it, and so does one of the greatest actresses. I think the child star she worked on was none other than Shirley Temple. You know, Shirley Temple was the biggest. Well, she was an actress, but I just wanted to let you know this is very, very sad, and actually tragically sad for loss of the days of his life. But it was tragic. But I guess there's a lot of people to the table here, but it's kind of what more the loss. Oh, I found. I forgot to look at it. Yes, that was Shirley Temple. She died since last winter. That she died in the past. So I just did cover this. Well, I just want to tell you that Robin Williams has been one of the greatest actor in movies. You think out of all the stars that was in there, but I mean, people have been dead for how long? Throughout the year, 2014. You remember Shirley Temple died. That's right. He was one of the first ever child stars he did in beginning of the 1930s. That's why I already covered it that well. So I know that many people died in this. Yeah, many of these screen legends. If they lose a lot of great Hollywood legends, I know they would lost. Like that, Shirley Temple was one of them. She was one of them. But that's kind of very sad. Well, to get back to the Robin Williams story right now, she started. Yeah, she went on to become an act. She was actually looked back at Robin Williams. He was he was from Detroit originally. He was born in Detroit, but when he grew up, he wanted to become the star. I cannot pronounce the story as well. So he went on. He first landed on TV, which was he played as Mork from Ork, an alien. You know, the one who was saying nano nano. Yeah, it was like Apple iPod Nano or Nano. If you recognize his motto, that was his trademark word. That was in Mork and Mindy. He landed on a small screen in the 1970s TV sitcom Mork and Mindy. I used to watch Mork and Mindy when I was a kid, and I know that brings back a lot of memories. I used to watch the show when it was on Channel 11 in reruns. Man, that brings back a lot of great memories of watching Mork and Mindy. I used to watch it every afternoon on Channel 11 for years. It was great to watch the reruns. It's pretty nice to say about it. And of course, after it did successfully well with the Mork and Mindy, yeah, it's right up in the knot with Happy Days and the Laverne and Shirley. Well, there are like other three of the shows that's from the same people who did Happy Days. Well, that's right. Happy Days and Laverne and Shirley are the other two shows, as well as Mork and Mindy. I think the other three top shows that were Paramount produced this actually for television production, but that's the same studio that produced these shows. And there was like, oh, this is a pretty interesting program, but it's pretty well, did well, but unfortunately it was pretty good for to land Robin Williams as the star and actor on television. But that's right. Right after he did well with his career, we wanted to do movies. Yep. And Robin Williams landed after Mork and Mindy ended. He went on to star in a lot of movies that he did over the years. He began his first acting career he started was the 1980 live action musical version of the cartoon Popeye. If you recognize that, that's the this is a VHS release of Popeye. I'm just going to look on Google for a second here, so I can say this is pretty interesting. I'm just to type in Robin Williams for a bit. Yeah, I know there was actually, this was a Paramount release, but of course that was a VHS release from that time period. It's not from the Disney. Disney co-produced it, Paramount. I want to show it right here. Yeah, you can see it's a VHS tape. You can tell. This is the one. For those of you, I can tell this thing apart here. Screen up here. Yep, that was it. Popeye was actually his first movie he did with Robin Williams as the title role in this first ever movie. That it was a live action version of Popeye, which was I used to like Popeye. I always liked the Popeye cartoon. I grew up watching this on TV, but yeah, especially the movies was good. It was great because it has Shelley Duvall as Olive Oyl. It's a great movie. If you have seen Popeye, if you haven't seen it, go check out that movie. It's a fantastic. I know this is actually they use some of the references from other cartoons they did over the years, which I think both Paramount's famous and Fleischer and Famous Studios era when they just did. I think that's kind of more like a reference to other homage to the old cartoons. And yes, the movie was pretty good. It's sort of like a tribute to the classic cartoons from back in the years gone by, from both the Fleischer and Famous Studios eras. That's when the Popeye thing, it had started a lot of, started probably 100 or 200 episodes they did for Popeye. Well, probably about over 100 episodes. And then many of the later ones are on television that were produced for television back in the 60s. After they left the big screen ended, the last one was Spooky Swaps in 1957, and that would brought the theatrical one to an end. But they returned once again to a small screen. That was when they produced for television for over the years. And then that's about it. But now let's get back to the Robin Williams a bit. He was in 100 movies he worked on over the years. Around that time, he was in movies like Good Morning Vietnam, Dead Poet Society, The Fisher King, and he won an Oscar for the film Good Will Hunting, and I did not see any of these movies. And he was born in Chicago in 1951, in and he grew up in Broomfield Hills, Michigan. And yes, his title character, like I said, Popeye, and then of course The World According to Garp, which was from 1982. Then he went on to do a stand-up comedian to host a special. You know, the best one I think was the Robin Williams on Broadway, which was on HBO, which was one of the best. Good Morning Vietnam was pretty interesting to see. I have not seen Good Morning Vietnam in years. There's also Dead Poets Society. There's also he was also in other movies that he did for Disney, beginning with if you remember this movie I'm talking about, Aladdin. Yep, he voiced the genie in Aladdin. Let me tell you something. My mother and I went to see that in the theater many years ago, way back in 1992, and that's back in the summer of '92. I was like a young kid at the time when I remember went to the movies to see Aladdin. My mother and I went to see it, and I enjoyed it very well because it brings back some great memories. I usually had it. It was a great time. But actually, I had this movie on VHS, which I had this for a very long time, and it's been sitting in my collection for probably years, which has been there for a long time. He was a great guy. He does great with the genie, and this is a very interesting voice acting. He does a great job in there. And then after he did not voice in the Return of Jafar, he was he came back for the third time in probably for the second time in a direct-to-video movie. It was in a made-to-video film for Disney's Aladdin and the King of Thieves. It had Robin Williams. It brought back Robin Williams in the third Aladdin movie, but he did not return in the second movie. But Robin Williams never returned in the second until the third movie, and that was it. And the plan worked. Genie was actually in this film, but anything, that was it. And then by the 90s, he was in a lot of movies. Hook, Jumanji. You can look at the other movies he did over the years. It's listed in the IMDb. You could check it out. And by no means, Robin Williams is a great, excellent, talented guy. I think he was great for his movie work. He does great. He does stand-up. He does a lot of them. He was a genius. He was a genius. He was in many of them. He was on television. He was in movies. He was in everything. I think that was a very nice guy. And he was out of his world, out of his mind. And of course, there's also Patch Adams was another one. Insomnia. This movie's not a comedy. It was Insomnia. I saw this movie. I never liked it. I'm not a fan of like murder people, all that stuff. That was R-rated, but yeah, it's a thriller. Robin Williams was in that. I don't know. He was not even as funny, but it's not even funny. But it was in a lot of movies. You know, he was as Teddy Roosevelt in the Night of the Museum movies. Lee Daniels, the butler. He made his debut on Broadway in Bengal Tiger and the Baghdad Zoo. And of course, he returned to TV since long after Mork and Mindy has gone. He was on a series called The Crazy Ones. This show ran for one season. It failed miserably. It was kind of a short-lived series, but then it left in a can. Yes, he completed work on several movies that have not been released, including the third installment of the Night of the Museum franchise. Yeah, it was scheduled for December. And this was also Merry Freaking Christmas, which is an independent comedy about a dysfunctional family. He has been worked on that right before he died. And of course, yeah, he has been ill for years. It's very sad to say. It's very disappointing to see him leaving the Hollywood spotlight, and we will give our condolence to everyone. I will sincerely give my condolence to Robin Williams. That would be a sad way to end here because, well, it's very sad to say it's time to say goodbye to him. He would be surely missed. We know for many years he was a great actor, a TV actor, comedian, stand-up, and that was basically it. So, for once again, this is Chris, good guy, and I will see you again. So, may he rest in peace. Well, if that's not enough, we lost another actress. We came out this week, and as you know, for those of you who follow it, actress Lauren Bacall has died at the age of 89, 2 days after Robin Williams. Well, as you know, the sad news that happened, whatever it happens, both of these actresses who just died this week. All two of the great movie stars have died. First, Robin Williams and Lauren Bacall. And she was a legend. She was one of the Hollywood legends on the big screen. And I have not heard of Lauren Bacall. And yep, he was actually provide glamour, elevated her stardom in Hollywood's golden age. He was one of the whose lasting mystique put her in a plateau in American culture that few stars reaches. Died. She was 89 years old. He was confirmed by her son Stefan Bogard, which I think it's Mr. Bogard, which her life speaks itself. Mr. Bogard says she lived a wonderful life, a magical life, and she was probably I have never seen any of the Lauren Bacall movies. I actually remember watching them. I have not been heard of Lauren Bacall. If you have those, you have not heard of the actress. She starred in her first movie with Humphrey Bogart in To Have or Have Not. It came out in 1944, which was her first film. And this was actually the first in a string of movies that she starred in her movies. She had more than 40 films for Lauren Bacall, and actually, this was actually the best one you can say. It's probably one of her successful films. It was tied together with co-starring Humphrey Bogart. Humphrey was in Casablanca before Lauren Bacall also appeared. She was a pretty brilliant actress. She has a lot of great talented. She was born in my hometown, Brooklyn, New York. She was born there. And yes, she has been long-lasting. She has been throughout her career in New York City. She was from Brooklyn. Originally, she was born from, same place where I was born. That's right, because, yep, she was actually, grew up in that neighborhood. It was born as Betty Joan Persk, and the daughter of Natalie Weinstein Bacall, a Roman Jewish immigrant, who was also born elsewhere, probably in another state, New Jersey. And then this is a very interesting one, but I'm just going to give you a full list of it. It's on the link to the IMDb site. I have nothing else to say about it, but actually, if you don't know who Lauren Bacall was an actress. And she was in another of his movies, Confidential Agent, The Big Sleep, Key Largo, Dark Passages, How to Marry a Millionaire. There's also The Cobweb. He was in Written on the Wind, Designing Woman. I'm not sure if it's not a television show. It's like he has his own television. She went on to do television. She was in the episode of the Dr. Kildare. I'm sure I only have one episode in there. A television movie called Applause. There's also Sex and the Single Girl. She was in The Shootist with John Wayne. This was one of John Wayne's last movie he did was The Shootist from 1976 that co-starred John Wayne, which John Wayne starred in his final movie that he did, and co-starred Lauren Bacall in there. It was a Western from 1976. There's also Appointment with Death. He was in a lot of great movies. You know, Misery, Star for Two. There's also Predator, and there's also Mirror Have Two Faces. Yep, and there's also Madeline Lost in Paris, which was a direct-to-video movie from 1999. It was an animated film, but Dogville. There's he was in a lot of movies. He did during his long career. He has a long list of career he did in his movies because he did one episode in Family Guy, which was Mom's the Word in an episode Mom's the World. This was the last. This was Lauren's last final appearance was in an episode of Family Guy entitled Mom's the Word, which was Evelyn, who voiced as Evelyn. And yeah, this was actually her final appearance in that episode. And then The Forger that starred Anne Marie was actually was her last film that Lauren Bacall starred in The Forger. And she was actually received as a Lifetime Achievement Award, and he won many Best Acting awards. He received a lot of awards in there, but there's also he made actually a great movie. If you know, a great tragic loss he did in the movies. If you've seen that, this was a very interesting way to end. You know, Lauren Bacall passed away at age 89. What a loss. I'll have to see if I can think about watching some Lauren Bacall films, but well, it's a shame. We lost another one. First, back on Monday, we lost Robin Williams, and we lost another great actress. Well, legacy lives on, and well, that's all I can say about it. Lauren Bacall, may she rest in peace, and so does Robin Williams too. May both rest in peace.